Okay, it's time to talk about aviation insurance. Well, maybe you're just venturing into the excitement of airplane ownership and hear all the horror stories of exorbitant prices to insure an aircraft. Or maybe a lot of jargon thrown around that makes you wonder if your wallet can keep up with the hype. Well, I'm an aircraft owner, and I found it really comforting to talk with an insurance broker that put these fears to rest and showed me in every way that insuring an aircraft does not have to be a daunting issue at all. I visited a unique team, Ed and Janet Davis, at Pre-Flight Insurance Services and learned about not only aviation insurance, but commercial policies that have a real tie-in when you need coverage. So when you enter the office of Pre-Flight Insurance Services, you know right away that you're with aviation aficionados. They have the requisite number of framed pieces on the walls and interesting art on shelves and tables, enough to know I was with a passionate team. And they had stories to tell, and I was listening.
This is something that my father gave to me. He worked at McDonnell Douglas for 42 years. And this is a brochure that he had in his drawer for all those years that he gave to me, and I pulled everything out of it so I could make a picture of it. And what it is the rollout ceremonies for the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 transport aircraft in July of 1970. And this is the pictures of McDonnell and of Douglas. And the program here is really kind of neat because it includes one of the people who spoke here, Ronald Reagan. And the address was made by Vice President Spiro Agnew. So it's an interesting brochure that he had, and it's definitely something that I admire and I'm very pleased to be able to own.
Okay, this is a certificate that was issued to my father back in 1944. And it's the Court of the King's Neptune's Airmen. And each one of the crew members on his B-17 crew received a copy of this, or their own original. And this is for their first Atlantic crossing in a B-17. He was the flight engineer actually on the airplane. As you can see, closely, each crew member actually signed it. And I thought it was a real significant piece, so we framed it and proudly put it on our wall. And we also have a picture on the other side of this wall with of all the crew members, if you'd like to see that. And from what I understand, each B-17 crew had portraits like this made, so each crew member could have a photocopy of their entire crew.
Now obviously I wanted to ask a little about their experience, just how this team came to be and why it works so well for them.
Well, actually it's worked out very well. Initially, when I started the agency, Janet was still working for one of the larger brokerage houses. And at that point in time, I was just getting my business started, but as things started to grow, my needs for a broader reach into the markets also grew. And being an aviation specialist, there's only certain places I can go to obtain coverage for customers. So Janet coming on board with her 40 some odd years in the business, she's developed really good relationships with underwriting companies and particularly underwriters in the companies. And she was able to get a lot of appointments with carriers that could step in and take over some of the coverages that I wasn't able to obtain.
Sounds like it can be very convenient for your clients to have that level of capability then.
Oh, absolutely. It's a one-stop shop, and
We think so.
yeah. We don't. They don't have to go to 2 or 3 different brokers to get all the coverage they need. They can come to us, and generally we can put it together for them now.
So when we got down to what I hope are some of the answers to questions you might have when it's time to get coverage, I started by asking how aviation insurance compares to auto insurance, something we all know about.
Actually, they're very similar. It covers you for third-party liability, just like your auto insurance does, and it covers your aircraft for physical damage, just like your auto does. Some of the differences is the aviation policy has a passenger liability limit where your auto insurance is going to just give you medical. And the other difference on the physical damages is that in auto insurance, the physical damage is covered for actual cash value, whereas the aircraft policy would be for a replacement cost. So whatever you have the insured value at for your airplane, say it's $100,000, if the aircraft were to be totaled, it would be a $100,000 check, less any deductible. Whereas on the auto policy, it's going to be adjusted on an actual cash value basis. So there might be some depreciation if it's an older car.
Okay, that does clear up some thoughts I've had about that and what the differences are. So how do you pay the premiums? Are they like an auto insurance policy where you have a certain price you pay every quarter or monthly, or how's the pricing on paying premiums go?
Typically with aviation, the premiums either paid all at once up front, and they're all annual policies, or if it's a larger premium, we can actually finance the premium for you and have like a 15% down payment and 10 monthly installments.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot of flexibility in that. So how many different carriers are there? It's like those big auto insurance companies, there's people that are on TV all the time doing their commercials and stuff. I haven't seen any aviation companies on TV doing insurance commercials. So how many carriers are there?
There's actually only about 25, and that would include Lloyd's of London. 3 of those carriers would just be pure property carriers for insuring hangars or personal effects or business personal property if you're a commercial operation like a repair station. But yeah, there's just about 25.
So we moved on to the nuts and bolts of obtaining a policy and how all that works. You know, it's really a simple process.
Well, we'll send you a questionnaire, or if it's a real simple situation, like just insuring for instance, your aircraft, I can take the information over the telephone, and I go out and I go to the companies that I feel would be interested in your type of business. I obtain competitive quotes for you, and I come back to you and I say, we've got 4 companies that want to insure your airplane. This one's $1,500 and on up to $2,500. We decide which product is best for you. Once we get to that point and you're ready to bind the coverage, then I put together an application for you. You sign it. I send it to the carrier, give them the bind order, and you've got insurance.
So I need to make a claim, heaven forbid. What's the claims process if something goes wrong with my airplane and I need to use my policy?
Well, the best thing to do is pick up the phone and call your insurance broker and let him know what happened. Of course, you want to try to remember and jot down as many details about the claim, the date of the loss, time it happened, a description of what took place. If for some reason your insurance broker is not available to talk to, if you look through your insurance policy, there should be some information in there as to who you would contact directly at the company.
What's the claims process? Once I call and I get in touch with you or my broker and I give all the information about what happens, what's the normal course of procedure?
Well, all insurance companies have insurance adjusters. Some of them employ their own and others use independent adjusters, but nonetheless the procedure is basically the same. The adjuster will contact you and he'll take a claims report, and from there he decides how the damage is going to get repaired, and At that point, the aircraft goes into the FAA repair station, wherever it's going to go to have the prop fixed or have the nose wheel put back on or whatever. And basically you just have to wait for that process to end, and then they will probably pay the repair station directly. If it's a total loss, they will pay you directly, but any amount still owed to a mortgage or a bank would be paid out of that.
If I were renting an airplane, say I'm a student pilot and I'm renting an airplane, I guess two scenarios, one from a school or one from an individual. Do I need any insurance, or is the insurance policy that they have covering everything that I do in the airplane?
You really should have your own coverage, and there is a product out there. It's called non-owned aircraft insurance. And basically it provides you with a limit of liability and also some coverage, a certain amount of coverage for the physical damage on the airplane. So if you do have an accident in that airplane and you get sued, you'll have your own defense, your own limit of liability to pay the claim for third-party liability, and you also have a limit of hull insurance if there's damage to the aircraft.
Now these guys are brokers and not part of direct lines of insurance. And I've been bombarded with information from direct lines coming from magazines and other events I've attended, but knowing the benefits of using a broker was a real surprise to me. And I can see the logic.
Well, a direct writer, you're dealing, just like it says, directly with the insurance company. So you're basically negotiating for yourself. In anything that takes place, you don't have an advocate between you and the company. On the broker side, or a company that you use a broker to get to, the broker can act as your advocate. So if you have a claim and there's problems, you've got somebody you can go to and consult and represent you, to the company. The broker actually works for the insured, which would be you. And some of the other things that are good about having brokers is if you want to get the best deal on your insurance, the broker can go to a lot of different companies instead of just one and find you the best deal and negotiate better coverage. All I can say is we're a very, very service-oriented agency. It doesn't matter how big or how small your business is. Nobody is more important than the other. Everybody gets treated fairly, and they get their answers from us rapidly. We believe that nobody should have to wait more than 10 minutes for a response from us. It's, I think, basically all about taking care of your clients and making sure they have what they need when they need it.
And you're speaking directly with the owners of pre-flight, and you're not mixed up in corporate America and being pushed off to a CSR instead of the account executive for various issues, and we're privately held, and so we have a lot more interest in our company and taking care of our clients than the regular corporate America that we see today.
So does it really cost an arm and a leg? Well, maybe if you don't have insurance. But seriously, it's not the hit you think it is, especially if you're a private prop driver like me. Well guys, I'm on board, and I hope this helps you understand what aviation insurance is really all about. So just click on Contact Us and set up some quality time with Ed and Janet. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Thank you.